Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. So today's topic is regulation of gastric acid secretion. So we have completed gastric acid. What is gastric acid? Basically, some structural aspect of stomach and what is mechanism of gastric acid secretion. So in this video, we'll talk about regulation of gastric acid secretion. So in this small video, we'll touch upon neural component, the paracrine regulation, and the hormonal regulation. Right? Hormonal regulation will not cover too much because in hormonal regulation we complete just the gastrin, which is kind of stimulant which increase gastric acid secretion, and on the other hand inhibition of gastric acid secretion is done by somatostatin, cholecystokinin and secretin. So we'll main touch upon the neural and paracrine component, and whenever we talk about gastric acid secretion, it's the paracrine component which is the most important, right? Paracrine regulation. So we'll see in detail in this video. So let's get started. So we'll be talking about first the neural regulation, right? So let's see that neural regulation. So in neural regulation is basically the how basically nerves are controlling the secretion of stomach, right? Secretion of gastric acid. So neural regulation is basically how vagus nerve is kind of mediating gastric acid secretions or influencing it. So there are three phases of gastric acid secretion. You might have heard phases of gastric acid secretion. So that is nothing but neural regulation, right? In neural regulation, what you have to see is there are three phases. You can see the cephalic phase, the gastric phase, and intestinal phase. So the first thing is cephalic phase. This image is shown. This is cephalic phase, right? Cephalic phase of gastric acid secretion. So what happens basically, you just have to remember which one is the stimulus, which one is the response. So here stimulus is what? It is cephalic, means brain related. So which type of signals goes to brain? It's taste, smell or thought of a food, right? So whenever we think of food, we see food, we smell food, right? So those chemoreceptors are basically triggered how various senses. For example, you see the food, so that visual pathway is involved in that, and that visual signal goes to medulla. And here in the same way, if you are talking about smell, then it's olfactory pathway. So depending on which stimulus we are talking about, that signal goes to ultimately brain stem, right? So the signal goes to uh, ultimately when it goes to higher center, for example vision. So visual pathway, obviously it will go to visual cortex, but here we are not talking about that pathway. All the efferents, they are also coming to brainstem also. So the signal ultimately come to medulla, right, from where the vagus nerve emerges. So vagus nerve, via vagus nerve. So here we are talking about taste, smell and thought of food. So this signal goes to medulla, stimulating the vagus nerve. And what vagus nerve will do? It will stimulate cells secreting histamine and gastrin. So G cell and ECL cell, they are stimulated ultimately to secrete the gastrin and histamine respectively. And these both of the cells, they stimulate the parietal cell to secrete gastric acid secretion. Are you getting me? So these are hormones minded. Histamine and gastrin, they don't directly communicate, but they are poured into blood, and via blood vessel they come to parietal cell and ultimately with secrete HCl. Fine. So this is your cephalic phase of gastric acid secretion. Coming to next phase, which is your gastric phase. So what gastric phase is basically, here gastric phase. So as name shows, where is the stimulus? So we are talking about gastric. Gastric means when food has come to stomach. So whenever food come to stomach, it will distend. So the distension of stomach is the stimulus here. The stretch of a fundus part is basically the stimulus here. So because of that distension, what happens? Again, the signal via vagus, it is carried to the brainstem, the medulla, and ultimately the vagal efferents, they come, and in the same way, secreting histamine and gastrin, it basically stimulate the parietal cells. And one thing, to increase the gastric acid secretion. And second thing, when we talk about gastric phase, the distension is causing basically inhibition of the muscles, which is causing relaxation of the stomach muscles, smooth muscles, right? So relaxation is kind of, this is called receptive relaxation. Receptive relaxation. So, stretching of the stomach because of food is going to relax stomach more to accommodate that food, and that's why we call it receptive, right? So, receptive relaxation. This is also along with gastric acid secretion. This is also part of gastric phase of acid secretion. Okay. Next is intestinal. So intestinal is basically when you how intestinal. So you basically food comes to intestine. So like cephalic when we see food, like gastric when we eat food in stomach. So in the same way, when food after stomach, when food comes to your duodenum intestine, that is because of that, when we can have gastric acid secretion more. For example, food is here and that is having high acid content, right? So we will not want that food in intestine, because if there is high acidity it can cause ulcer in duodenum. So what we want is, we want inhibition of the acid from stomach, right? So there can be inhibitory stimulus to gastric acid. It decreases the gastric acid secretion whenever there is hyperacidity or undigested particles coming to duodenum. That stimulus goes to again brainstem, medulla oblongata, from where vagus now again the efferent come to stomach, and it is going to inhibit the gastric acid secretion. Why? Because more acid was coming to duodenum. So what we want? We want decreased acid secretion, that point, right? So that is your intestinal phase. So mostly intestinal phase is basically it decreases the gastric acid secretion, and this is caused by secretin and cholecystokinin via blood. So these are hormones which are secreted from the duodenum. Okay, so secretin and cholecystokinin, it is poured into blood, since this is an endocrine secretion, and from blood basically again it goes to the target organ for inhibition of gastric acid secretion. Okay, so this is all about neural regulation, in which we have seen how cephalic, gastric and intestinal phases of gastric acid secretion are causing increase or decrease of gastric acid. Now coming to most important, which is paracrine regulation. What is that? Paracrine is basically when there, for example, these are two cells. One cell is releasing something, right? And that is going to ultimately bind on other one to cause stimulatory or inhibitory, whatever effect it is. This type of communication is called paracrine communication, right? So here we'll be talking about in stomach which type of cells they communicate with each other and how they can influence the gastric acid secreting cells, that is parietal cell. So this is an image showing the parietal cell. This whole is parietal cell. Okay, this is your parietal cell. Fine. So you might have seen some receptors on this. So there are some receptors shown. First of all, we would like to, for example, this is your gastric pit. These are various cells. This is lumen, right? This is lumen, and there are various cells present over here. If you remember last video, we talked about various cells. Some mucus cells were there which secrete mucus and bicarb, right? Some mucus cells were there which secrete only mucus. There were some G cells which secrete gastrin, right, which stimulate gastric acid secretion. Then there are some basal cell, ECL cell, enterochromaffin like cell, enterochromaffin like cell, right, like cell. So they secrete histamine. We just touched upon what histamine do to gastric acid, right? There is inhibitory cell, D cell, which secretes somatostatin, which also inhibit gastric acid secretion, right? So this is somehow how the cells are basically arranged. There are various cells. So let's see that same interaction here. So gastrin is released from G cell, right? Now gastrin is going to stimulate ECL cell. Okay, it is going to stimulate ECL cell to secrete histamine. Now whenever histamine is released, this is very potent stimulus of the parietal cells. So it act via H2 receptor, and it is going to increase the this pump, hydrogen potassium pump. So whoever is going to stimulate this hydrogen potassium pump, it is going to increase the HCl secretion into lumen, right? So this is first thing. So gastrin is first thing which is going to stimulate. Second thing is histamine itself, right? Gastrin directly also stimulate via gastrin receptors. So H2 receptor for histamine and gastrin G receptor for gastrin, right? Okay, so this is one thing. Then there is vagus nerve. Vagus nerve, we always talk about how what vagus do to our GIT. So vagus nerve, it releases acetylcholine neurotransmitter which act via M3 receptors, and this is going to increase ultimately calcium and increase the activity of gastric acid secretion. So ultimately vagus nerve firing is also going to increase the acid secretion. So this is your third thing which is going to increase, right? Then one more thing which is, for example, if you eat in diet the arachidonic acid, right, and via Cox pathway, it is converted to prostaglandin. So this is the pathway of prostaglandin synthesis from arachidonic acid, and this pathway is Cox pathway, right? So these PGs are also these are prostaglandins, right? So what happens basically, these prostaglandins are not formed if you eat COX inhibitors. What are COX inhibitor? COX inhibitors are NSAIDs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. Non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. What these PGs are going to do? These are basically increasing the GI type inhibitory signal for acid. So they basically decrease acidity, and along with that they basically stimulate mucus cell. If this is a mucus cell along with parietal, this is a mucus cell, right? They are going to stimulate via PG receptors, they are going to stimulate mucus cell, and mucus cell secrete not only thick mucus but also bicarbonate. Now, when these two things are secreted into lumen, they are going to ultimately inhibit or decrease this HCl. So this is an inhibitory signal, right? So prostaglandin are good for us, although sometime to protect the barrier, right? So prostaglandin. So whenever you eat NSAIDs, which are NSAIDs? These are NSAIDs drugs are basically like you eat Brufen, you eat diclofenac, the painkillers basically, NSAIDs. So they are going to, what they are going to, they inhibit, they are COX inhibitor. So they inhibit prostaglandin synthesis. So what happens basically, they decrease the bicarb formation, bicarb barrier formation. Now if barrier is not formed and you have hyperacidity, then what you will be there will be more, you are more prone for ulcer, right? So gastric ulcers are formed because of prolonged use of NSAIDs. Now are you getting me? So third component is basically prostaglandins. So what increases HCl? It is, the first thing is gastrin, second thing is histamine, and third thing is the vagal stimulation. And what decreases HCl inhibitory signal is basically, one is prostaglandin itself, second is bicarb which makes the barrier, right? Then is D cell which secretes somatostatin, and intestinal signal are basically secretin and CCK, cholecystokinin. In next coming videos we'll cover these secretin and CCK in detail. Okay, so that's all about how gastric acid secretion is increased or decreased, the regulation part. So if question come in your exam, you have to explain the paracrine regulation first, the neural regulation having three phases, and hormones, which we have covered here. Okay, so that's all about gastric acid secretion regulation part. Thank you so much for watching. In next video we'll come up with next GIT topic. Thanks for watching. If you have any query, you can comment below. Please subscribe my channel for more such videos. Thank you so much.